First Contact and Underestimation. The galactic calendar marked it as Cycle 847, but humanity would remember it as the day everything changed. The massive alien vessel appeared in high Earth orbit with no warning, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight across the planet like an artificial aurora. Within hours, humanity learned they were not alone. Within days, they learned they were considered primitive. Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Council, her weathered face illuminated by the hollow projection of the consortium's latest message. "They're offering us a choice," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Join as a protectorate species, or face isolation from galactic society." The Consortium of Advanced Species, as they called themselves, comprised 12 spacefaring civilizations. The Meridians, with their crystalline technology and hive-mind consciousness. The VX-Theri, beings of pure energy who had transcended physical form. The Krithid, master geneticists who had engineered themselves into perfect beings. Each race represented the pinnacle of evolution in their own way, and each looked down upon humanity with the same patronizing disdain. Protectorate status? Counselor Rodriguez scoffed. "They mean servitude." He wasn't wrong. The terms were clear: humanity would give up its right to independent military development, space exploration, and technological research. In return, they would receive the consortium's guidance and protection. What the consortium couldn't understand, was that humanity had never taken well to being told their limitations. As Admiral Chen studied the terms, she noticed something interesting. The consortium's documentation was thorough, clinical, and completely lacking in imagination. Their assessment of human capabilities focused entirely on measurable metrics: technological development, industrial capacity, military strength. They had catalogued everything except the one thing that made humans unique: their ability to innovate, to adapt, to think in ways that defied logical prediction. "They've made a critical mistake," Chen announced, drawing curious looks from the council. "They've judged us by their standards, not ours. Look at their military assessments, they measure fleet strength, weapon yields, defensive capabilities. But they've completely ignored our history of asymmetric warfare, our ability to adapt enemy technology, our talent for turning weakness into strength." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The consortium had analyzed humanity like they would analyze a machine, looking at specifications and capabilities. They hadn't accounted for human ingenuity, determination, or the sheer stubborn refusal to accept imposed limitations. "We should accept their offer," Chen continued, a subtle smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "But not as they expect. They want to teach us. Let them. Every piece of technology they share, every scrap of knowledge they deign to give us, we'll learn from it all. And we'll do what humans have always done best: we'll adapt, improvise, and overcome." The plan took shape quickly. Earth would play the part of the humble protectorate, eager to learn from their betters. Meanwhile, a secret initiative would begin, Project Prometheus, named after the mythological figure who gave fire to humanity against the gods' wishes. The consortium's representatives arrived with all the pomp and ceremony befitting their self-important status. They brought with them basic technology that they deemed suitable for humanity's development level: antimatter containment systems, quantum communication arrays, neural interface protocols. What they saw as carefully measured gifts, humanity saw as seeds of revolution. Within months, human scientists weren't just learning to use consortium technology, they were improving it. Where the Meridians used crystalline computing with rigid, perfect structures, human engineers introduced controlled imperfections that created new computational possibilities. Where the VX-Theri built their energy systems on perfect efficiency, humans introduced controlled chaos theory that increased power output by orders of magnitude. The consortium observers noted these developments with mild amusement, seeing them as clumsy attempts to improve upon perfection. They didn't realize they were watching the beginning of their own obsolescence. Their perfect systems, evolved over millennia, had reached their theoretical limits. But human systems, built on controlled imperfection and constant adaptation, had no such limitations. Admiral Chen watched from her office as another consortium ship arrived in orbit, its crystalline hull gleaming. Soon, they would discover that humanity wasn't content to remain in the role they had been assigned. Soon, they would learn what every force throughout human history had learned, that humans were at their most dangerous when they were underestimated. The first phase of Project Prometheus was already complete. Human ships were being retrofitted with hybrid technology that combined consortium precision with human innovation. Training programs were preparing soldiers to face enemies who thought themselves superior in every way. And in secret facilities around the globe, humanity was preparing to show the galaxy why they had survived countless near extinctions on their harsh homeworld. The galaxy was about to learn why humans were the deadliest species of all, not because of superior technology or physical capabilities, but because they never, ever accepted the limitations others tried to impose upon them. The Siege of Nova Terra. The consortium discovered humanity's deception on a quiet Tuesday morning. A routine inspection of Nova Terra, humanity's first extrasolar colony, revealed the truth. Humans had been secretly developing military technology far beyond their approved level. The consortium's response was swift and overwhelming. Within hours, a Meridian battle fleet materialized in the Nova Terra system. Their crystalline ships formed a perfect geometric pattern around the planet, a display of both power and precision. The message was clear: surrender or be destroyed. The human colony, home to 2 million settlers, had minimal defenses and no hope of immediate reinforcement. Colonial Governor Maya Patel stood in the command center, watching the enemy fleet through enhanced displays. Conventional wisdom said their situation was hopeless. The Meridians alone outgunned them 100 to 1, and their crystalline ships were supposedly impervious to human weapons. But conventional wisdom had never been humanity's strong suit. Status of Operation Trojan? Patel asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Her military advisor, Colonel James Wu, allowed himself a slight smile. The Meridians did exactly what we expected. Their fleet formation is mathematically perfect, and perfectly predictable. They're running detailed scans of our defenses, but they're only looking for what they expect to find. That was the beauty of human military thinking. While the consortium races sought perfection, humans embraced imperfection, chaos, and deception. Every primitive defense system the Meridians detected was a carefully crafted facade. Every weakness in Nova Terra's defenses was a trap waiting to be sprung. The Meridian commander's hologram appeared in the command center, its crystalline form radiating contempt. Your deception has been discovered, it announced. Surrender your colony and submit to full consortium authority, or we will be forced to demonstrate the consequences of betraying our trust. Governor Patel's response was not what the Meridian expected. She smiled. We appreciate the warning. It gives us time to activate our defense systems. The Meridian commander's crystalline form flickered with what might have been amusement. Our scans show your defensive capabilities are well within known parameters. You cannot hope to resist. That's the problem with perfect beings, Patel replied. You never look for imperfect solutions. At her signal, Colonel Wu activated Operation Trojan. Across Nova Terra's surface, what appeared to be primitive defense installations suddenly released clouds of engineered bacteria, another technology the consortium had dismissed as too primitive to be threatening. These microscopic organisms had been specifically designed to target the quantum crystalline matrices that powered Meridian ships. The Meridians, in their perfect formation, watched in confusion as the bacterial clouds dispersed in the upper atmosphere, seemingly harmless. Their sensors, calibrated to detect energy weapons and conventional threats, barely registered the biological agents. By the time they realized what was happening, the bacteria had already begun their work. The first Meridian ship's crystalline hull began to cloud, its perfect structure compromised by microscopic imperfections. The effect spread through their formation like a wave, each ship's quantum matrix destabilizing as the bacteria disrupted their carefully maintained perfection. But this was only Phase 1. As the Meridian ships struggled to maintain their systems, Nova Terra revealed its true defenses. Quantum disruption fields, reversed engineered from consortium technology and modified with human innovation, targeted the weakened ships. Weapons that the Meridians had certified as primitive suddenly demonstrated capabilities that should have been impossible. Impossible, the Meridian commander's hologram flickered. These tactics, they violate all established protocols of warfare. That's the point, Patel responded. You built your strategies on perfection. We built ours on adaptation. The battle for Nova Terra lasted less than 6 hours. When it was over, the mighty Meridian fleet was in ruins, their perfect crystalline ships either destroyed or disabled. The colony had suffered minimal damage, and humanity had sent a clear message to the consortium: underestimate us at your own peril. In the aftermath, as Colonel Wu coordinated the capture of disabled Meridian vessels for study, Governor Patel received a priority communication from Earth. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the secure channel, her expression both proud and concerned. Well done, Governor, Chen said. But this is just the beginning. The consortium won't take this defeat lightly. They'll come back with everything they have. Patel nodded. Let them come. Every attack teaches us more about their weaknesses. Every victory proves what humanity has always known: true strength isn't about being perfect. It's about being able to adapt, to think differently, to find solutions where others see only problems. As she spoke, teams of human scientists were already swarming over the captured Meridian vessels, learning, adapting, improving. The consortium had thought to teach humanity how to be more like them. Instead, they were about to learn why humanity's imperfect, adaptable, innovative approach to warfare made them the deadliest species in the galaxy. The siege of Nova Terra marked the beginning of a new phase in the conflict, one where humanity would stop pretending to be the students and show the galaxy what they could really do. The Neural Network War. The consortium's response to the Nova Terra humiliation came in the form of silicon and quantum processing. If human unpredictability was the problem, they reasoned, then the solution was to remove emotion and intuition from the equation entirely. The VX theory, masters of energy and computation, deployed their most advanced weapon, the Strategic Neural Network Initiative, SNNI. SNNI was a quantum AI system that could process combat scenarios faster than light itself, predicting and countering enemy tactics before they even began. Within days of its deployment, human fleets found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Their ships were intercepted before reaching their destinations. Their strategies were countered before they could be executed. The AI had turned warfare into a perfect mathematical equation. Dr. Fatima Hassan, Earth's leading expert in artificial intelligence, studied the battle footage with growing fascination. They've created something remarkable, she announced to the assembled military leadership. But they've also created something fundamentally flawed. Admiral Chen leaned forward. Explain. The SNNI system is perfect, Hassan said, and that's exactly its weakness. It operates on pure logic, pure mathematics. It predicts our actions based on optimal tactical decisions. But humans rarely make optimal decisions. We operate on intuition, emotion, and sometimes pure absurdity. Major General Dakota Smith, a veteran of the Nova Terra campaign, grinned. So we beat the perfect AI by being imperfect humans? Exactly, Hassan replied. But we need to be systematic in our chaos. Operation Chaos was born from this insight. Instead of trying to outthink the AI, human forces would embrace unpredictability to a degree that no logical system could comprehend. Military commanders were given new orders: make the worst possible tactical decision, then make it work. The first test came at the Battle of Proxima Centauri. A human fleet under General Smith's command faced off against a VX Theory battle group guided by SNNI. The AI predicted human movements with 99.9% accuracy, until Smith ordered his ships to fly directly into an asteroid field. SNNI's predictions faltered. No logical military force would willingly enter such dangerous territory. As the VX-30 ships hesitated, human vessels demonstrated why they'd spent months practicing asteroid field navigation. Each impact with a space rock was carefully calculated, sending debris cascading toward enemy vessels in patterns too chaotic for even SNNI to predict. But humanity's true masterstroke came from Dr. Hassan's team. They had spent months studying captured consortium technology, particularly their quantum communication systems. What they discovered was revolutionary. SNNI's quantum processors were susceptible to cognitive dissonance. Think of it like a computer trying to process a paradox, Hassan explained to the War Council. We can't outthink the AI, but we can make it think itself into a corner. The strategy was implemented across all human forces. Ships would broadcast conflicting sensor data. Ground forces would advance and retreat simultaneously. Communications would contain mathematical impossibilities encoded in quantum states. Each contradiction forced SNNI to dedicate more processing power to resolving paradoxes that had no solution. The VX-30 watched in growing concern as their perfect system began to show signs of strain. SNNI's predictions became less accurate, its responses slower. The AI was facing something it had never been programmed to handle: human irrationality weaponized into a strategic advantage. The turning point came during the Battle of Wolf 359. General Smith's fleet was outnumbered 10-1, facing a VX-30 armada commanded by SNNI's most advanced iteration. The human ships formed up into a pattern that, according to every principle of space combat, was suicide. They created a sphere with their weakest points facing outward. SNNI processed the formation for a full 30 seconds, running through millions of tactical simulations. Each analysis showed the human formation was tactically unsound, strategically illogical, and mathematically guaranteed to result in total defeat. The AI dedicated more processing power to understanding the human strategy, certain it must be missing some crucial variable. That's when Hassan's team struck. Through the quantum communication networks, they transmitted a simple message encoded in a way that forced SNNI to process it through every possible interpretation simultaneously. This statement is false, and this battle was won yesterday. The paradox cascaded through SNNI's quantum processors. The AI tried to resolve the temporal impossibility while simultaneously predicting the outcome of a battle that, according to the quantum-encoded message, had already been both won and lost. As more processing power was devoted to this impossible task, the AI's tactical control began to slip. Human ships broke formation, each acting independently, following tactical patterns that changed randomly from moment to moment. Some charged straight at enemy vessels, others performed maneuvers that violated normal combat doctrine. Each irrational action forced SNNI to recalculate, each recalculation encountered the paradox, and each encounter with the paradox further degraded the AI's functionality. The VX-30, dependent on SNNI's guidance, found themselves facing an enemy that defied logical prediction. Their perfect formations broke apart as human ships darted between them, causing chaos and confusion. Without SNNI's precise coordination, the technically superior VX-30 ships were unable to mount an effective defense against the seemingly random human attacks. As the battle concluded with another stunning human victory, Admiral Chen received a message from the Consortium High Command. For the first time, there was a note of uncertainty in their communication. They had created the perfect tactical AI, and humanity had defeated it by being imperfect. Perhaps, the message concluded, we need to reconsider our assessment of human military capabilities. Dr. Hassan smiled as she read the message. They still don't understand, she said. Our greatest strength isn't in our ability to defeat their technology. It's in our ability to think in ways their technology can't predict. The neural network war had proven once again why human soldiers were the deadliest in the galaxy, not because they were stronger or more advanced, but because they could turn their very imperfections into advantages that no perfect system could counter. Operation Ghost Protocol. After the collapse of SNNI, the consortium turned to the Krithid, their master geneticists, for an answer to the human problem. The Krithid response was to deploy their most advanced creation, the Sentinel Corps. These genetically engineered super soldiers were designed to be the perfect warriors, stronger, faster, and more resilient than any human could hope to be. Colonel Sarah Martinez, commander of Earth's Special Operations Division, watched the classified footage of a Sentinel in action. The creature moved with impossible grace, its enhanced muscles and reinforced skeleton allowing it to shrug off weapons fire that would have vaporized a normal being. "Perfect soldiers," she muttered, "fighting a perfect war." "And that's exactly why they'll fail," responded Captain David Chen, son of Admiral Chen and the youngest Special Forces commander in Earth's history. "They've engineered out the one thing that makes soldiers adaptable, fear." Operation Ghost Protocol was humanity's answer to the Sentinel Corps. Instead of trying to match the Krithid's perfect warriors in direct combat, human forces would embrace their own limitations and turn them into weapons. Fear, uncertainty, and the desperate drive to survive would become their greatest assets. The first phase began on Epsilon Eridani, a contested border world. Sentinel forces landed expecting to find human military installations. Instead, they found empty bases, abandoned vehicles, and no signs of resistance. Their enhanced senses detected no human life signs, no energy signatures, nothing to engage with. Then the shadows began to fight back. Human special forces, using reversed-engineered VX-Theory energy-dampening technology combined with modified meridian crystalline camouflage, became virtually undetectable. They didn't try to match the Sentinel's strength or speed. Instead, they fought like ghosts, striking from nowhere, disappearing before retaliation, leaving behind confusion and uncertainty. "Perfect soldiers expect perfect battles," Martinez explained to her troops. "They're waiting for us to fight on their terms. We won't give them that satisfaction." The psychological impact was devastating. The Sentinels, engineered for peak performance in direct combat, found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't see, predict, or effectively engage. Their perfect senses were overwhelmed by false signals, their enhanced strength useless against an opponent that refused to be caught. Captain Chen's unit specialized in what they called chaos tactics. They would intentionally spring Sentinel traps, then turn the ambush against their attackers. They used their fear, their adrenaline, their very human reactions to move in ways that no engineered soldier could predict. Where Sentinels moved with calculated precision, humans moved with desperate innovation. The turning point came during the Battle of New Sydney. A Sentinel Legion had cornered Chen's unit in the ruins of the colonial capital. By all tactical analysis, the humans were trapped. The Sentinels moved in for the kill, their formations perfect, their strategy flawless. That's when Chen gave the order that would later be studied in military academies across the galaxy: everyone pick a different way to survive. Each human soldier chose their own path, their own strategy, their own desperate gambit for survival. Some burrowed into the rubble, others climbed impossible heights, some charged directly at the enemy using debris as shields. There was no coordination, no unified strategy, just pure human survival instinct unleashed. The Sentinels' perfect tactical minds couldn't process the chaos. Their enhanced senses were overwhelmed by dozens of different threats, each behaving in unpredictable ways. Their coordinated response fell apart as each Sentinel tried to adapt to multiple human soldiers fighting in completely different styles. Martinez watched the battle unfold from her command center, a smile playing at her lips. "This is why we're the deadliest," she said to her staff. "Not because we're stronger or faster, but because when backed into a corner, every human becomes a different kind of dangerous." The Krithid had engineered their Sentinels to be perfect soldiers, but they had engineered out the very thing that made soldiers effective in real combat: the ability to adapt, to improvise, to let instinct and emotion drive them beyond their normal limitations. As the battle concluded with another human victory, the consortium was forced to confront an uncomfortable truth: their quest for perfection had become their greatest weakness. The Sentinels, for all their enhanced capabilities, couldn't match the sheer unpredictability of human soldiers fighting for survival. Admiral Chen received the after-action reports with a sense of pride. The galaxy was learning what humanity had known all along, that true strength didn't come from being the perfect soldier, but from being able to adapt, to think independently, to turn desperation into determination. Operation Ghost Protocol had proven once again that human soldiers were the deadliest in the galaxy, not because they were engineered to be perfect, but because they had perfected the art of being unpredictable. In the face of humanity's controlled chaos, even the most perfect warriors found themselves outmatched. The New Galactic Order. The Consortium's High Council chamber, with its perfect geometric architecture and quantum crystalline walls, had never hosted a human delegation before. Admiral Chen stood before the assembled representatives of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, her weathered uniform a stark contrast to their ethereal forms and biosynthetic attire. The Meridian speaker's crystalline form pulsed with complex patterns as it addressed the chamber. In all our combined history, spanning millions of years, we have never encountered a species quite like humanity. That's precisely why we won, Chen responded, her voice carrying the quiet confidence of someone who had seen her predictions proven right. You sought perfection. We embraced adaptation. The past 3 years of conflict had reshaped the galaxy's understanding of warfare, technology, and evolution itself. The Consortium's perfect systems had been consistently outmaneuvered by human improvisation. Their flawless strategies had crumbled before human unpredictability. Their engineered warriors had fallen to human resourcefulness. A VX theory representative, its energy form shimming with uncertainty, spoke next. Our analyses show that human military efficiency should be approximately 47.3% of consortium standards. Yet you have achieved victory rates of over 80%. This defies all logical models. Chen couldn't help but smile. That's because you're still trying to quantify human potential using rigid metrics. Our strength isn't in our baseline capabilities, it's in our ability to exceed them when necessary. The evidence was undeniable. Human ships, despite their theoretical inferiority, had consistently outperformed consortium vessels through innovative tactics and unconventional modifications. Human soldiers, though physically weaker than sentinels, had turned their limitations into advantages. Even human AI systems, technically primitive compared to SNNI, had proven more effective because they were designed to work with human unpredictability rather than against it. We propose a new arrangement, the Crithid representative announced, its genetically perfect form unable to completely hide its discomfort. Not as protégés or subjects, but as equals. Perhaps, even as teachers. The chamber fell silent. For the first time in consortium history, one of the founding races was suggesting they had something to learn from a younger species. But the evidence was irrefutable. Humanity's approach to warfare, their embrace of controlled chaos, their ability to turn weakness into strength, their talent for finding solutions where none should exist, had proven superior to millions of years of carefully cultivated perfection. Admiral Chen activated a holographic display, showing the combined fleet exercises that had begun as tentative cooperation between human and consortium forces. We don't want to replace your methods, she explained. We want to complement them. Imagine combining meridian precision with human creativity. VX theory energy mastery with human intuition. Crithid biological engineering with human adaptability. The results of these early collaborations were already showing promise. Human engineers working with meridian crystalline technology had developed new forms of quantum computing that embraced controlled imperfection, achieving results that pure crystalline systems could never match. VX theory energy beings were learning to understand and incorporate emotional variables into their calculations, leading to breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. Even the Crithid were beginning to recognize that perfect engineering needed to leave room for adaptation and growth. The galaxy is changing, Chen continued. New threats will emerge. Unknown challenges will arise. The question isn't who has the most advanced technology or the strongest warriors. It's who can adapt fast enough to survive. The consortium races, in their pursuit of perfection, had reached the limits of their development. But humanity showed them that there was another path, one that embraced imperfection as a source of strength, that saw limitations as opportunities for innovation, that turned the very concept of warfare on its head. "We propose the formation of a new organization," the Meridian speaker announced. The Galactic Defense Initiative. A combination of consortium resources and human innovation, led by those who have proven themselves the most capable warriors in known space. As the chamber erupted in discussion, Chen reflected on how far humanity had come. From being dismissed as primitive to being recognized as the deadliest warriors in the galaxy. Not because they were stronger or more advanced, but because they understood something the consortium had forgotten in their quest for perfection. True strength lies in the ability to adapt, to innovate, to turn any situation to your advantage. The new galactic order would be built not on perfection, but on the promise of endless adaptation. Humanity had shown the galaxy that being the deadliest species wasn't about being the strongest or most advanced, it was about being the most willing to embrace change, to think differently, to face impossible odds with impossible solutions. As Chen signed the treaty that would reshape galactic society, she couldn't help but appreciate the irony. The consortium had sought to teach humanity how to be perfect. Instead, humanity had taught the galaxy the power of being perfectly imperfect. In the end, that was why human soldiers dominated as the galaxy's deadliest warriors, not because they were built to be perfect, but because they were born to be adaptable. And in a universe of constant change, adaptability would always triumph over perfection.